Welcome back. This is May 25th. This is the Zwift Tiny Race Insiders. Man, this is a great race to have today. I ran 3 of the 4 races. What I did today at 3:10, I ran a stage 3 race. I was so excited about doing that. And what I planned to do at 6:10 was run another stage 3 race. So what ended up happening though was that I ran the stage 3 race at 3:10. I did the tiny races at 5 o'clock. I skipped the last one because it was just road to sky. I know a lot of people like seeing me doing them, but man, it's nothing but pain for me on that one. And so I knew I was going to try to do a 6 o'clock, 6:10 race, which gave me, if I didn't do the 5:45 race, it would have gave me about 25 minutes to get ready for the 6:10 C race. But man, I knew I had a lot to do that day. Once I laid down and tried to let my legs rest about 15 minutes, when I stood up, man, I was just like, man, you know what? I'll just do 2 races tomorrow. And that was on Saturday. So normally I don't ride on Sunday. So you know how that goes for me. So I was just like, you know what? Let me just go ahead and do these 3 races, call it a day. And I just went ahead and let it go. Now I want to let you know that there was a 13-year-old in this race today. And I was just like, let me just say, it didn't bother me. You know, the young light guys are hard to take out. So these races was going to be tough because as us older guys got, now, you know, there's another young guy that I raced usually in when I used to be in D's was SJ, and he has a little brother, but they do triathlons, and I'm hoping he's doing good right about now. If you see my videos, man, have your dad send me out something, let me know how you doing this summer, man. But with all that being said, I don't like my intros being too long, like I said, so we're gonna get off into this race, and we're off. And as you see, we take off on this one, and it wasn't a hard race as per se as that. I was just trying to maintain the pace. Now, one thing I was doing, because these are short races, and when I'm racing with C's, the difficulty in that is that sometimes, especially on the first race, a lot of the C's legs are really fresh. You gotta remember, these guys are what you call with me, there are a lot of guys who race like I do, but they are more in shape. I have no other way to put it. They really are more in shape as a racer. So when they're racing, I just kind of stay with the pack, and then what I have to do is try to calculate when I was going to do my takeoff. You know, in my head, I'm doing the math from when I got to take off on this thing and when I got to go. So that's what I'm doing on this race. So I'm really thinking about what I have to do. So as you see, I'm riding in here. Yeah, I love the thumbs up, man. And with this first one, we did not have any power-ups. So there were no power-ups on this one. So as we get closer to 2K, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to try to put in about 95%. You know, like I said, I've been trying to take off a little early. The problem with me taking off a little early is I'm still a big guy. Even though I'm in a lot better shape than most big guys you're running to, I still get tired because I'm a bigger guy. Perfect example, I'm recording this over. I recorded this whole thing over. Made a mistake and pulled out my SD card from when I put it in my camera and record this over. Pulled my SD card out and I could not figure out how to get my Final Cut Pro to read the card anymore. It kept telling me that it was still stuck on the camera when I kept trying to download it to Final Cut Pro. I could have looked online and figured it out, but right now I have 2 other videos I got to edit, so I was just like, you know what? Let me just record this over right quick and go from there. So as you can see, we're coming through this thing pretty well. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay, cool. We getting close to the end of this thing. And I'm looking at, okay, we got 2 kilometers left. Now you got, like I said, you got to remember, this was pretty much a flat race. It wasn't really long. And I was hoping that by the time we get to close to the end, I was thinking, okay, the one thing I have to do as a bigger guy is take off at a certain point. And like I've been getting a lot of comments about when I take off. And I know I can't sprint with the little guys. A lot of y'all are letting me know that, and I'm really starting to understand that. And you gotta understand, I've done about 250 races, roughly 240 races at a D. And you kind of get used to stuff, and I'm breaking the habits. Trust me, y'all. I'm really trying to break those habits. But the thing is, and what I have to do too also is I have to learn routes. So a lot of y'all be hearing me, I get a lot of talk about my commentary. It's because I have to learn the routes. As a bigger guy, I cannot go in blind. I cannot do it. It won't work for me. So as we come around on the end of this race, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we're down to 500. I could push now, but if I push too soon, they'll be on my back. So as we come around this corner, I'm thinking, okay, cool. We're getting about 300. I'm feeling ready to push. And then watch what happens. I'm like, no! Oh man. I'm sorry, man. It was like everybody came out of there. I chose to push just a little too late. Man, you see what happens when I choose to push too late. With that being said, let's get on to the next race. Now look, here's the thing. This next race I know by heart. I'm not gonna lie to you, I know this next race. So in my head, I was thinking to myself, you know what? On this next one, I'm gonna make sure that I line up on the end of this thing just right. You know, so I know what I'm doing and I know the route of this. I really know this race that I've ran it a lot of times. So when I saw what the race was, I was like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and prepare for this one and we're gonna be ready to go. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get off the, you know, I don't like my intros too long. So with that being said, we're off. And as we take off, you can see that I'm rolling this thing, man. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, cool. We're gonna do fine. Now I gotta let you understand something. In my head, I was doing the math about where I needed to be. I'm like calculating, okay, cool. I know there's a hill in this race, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm doing the mind thoughts, I'm doing the calculations. Okay, cool. The hill is I'm thinking the hill in my mind is at 2.5. And I've been telling y'all, I've been trying to get ready to take off at 2. So I'm thinking if the hill at 2.5, if I coast down to the bottom of the hill, I should be fine. So that's what I'm thinking to myself. I should be more than fine. So as we're riding, I'm thinking about it. I'm doing the math in my head. Okay, cool. What I'm gonna do is once we turn, especially I knew who we were when we turned right here at that right. When we made that right, I knew exactly where we were going. I knew that we were gonna go through the cave, and then once we go through the volcano, on the other side there was gonna be a nice downhill, and then we're gonna ride that out. And what I needed to do was attack this thing at the downhill. Now I'm looking at the map up there at the top, and I'm thinking again to myself, like, okay, this I'm getting a little too close. I'm thinking we had a further distance off before we got to the little mountain, the little hill. So I'm looking at it, and I'm going, okay, wherever this hill is at, I'm going to have to attack it, and I'm going to have to maintain that attack all the way through the end of this race. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm thinking to myself, okay, when we get to the end of this hill, I'm going to have to attack it, and I'm going to have to maintain my attack all the way through this end of this race. So if you look up the top, we're at 3.5 kilometers away. And then we get 3.4. When we come out of here, I know that's the hill. I know what that is now. So now I'm like, oh boy. So as we come down this hill, I go into it. I'm just being honest. I put all my power in this hill to get me a nice, just look at my man, 50, I'm at 50 kilometers, I'm at 49 kilometers, 48. But as we turn to go down, look at how much speed I pick up. I'm 51, 53, 55. Look what everybody else is at. Now, when we hit the flat, I know that momentum's gonna stay with me for a while. So right here, I think I had an arrowhead, I had, and I hit that. And look at me maintain that 50 kilometers as we go through it. Now we're at 2.5 kilometers out. And I still gotta hold that all the way to the end. So what I'm doing now is I'm pedaling, I'm looking at the second guy and the third guy, and I'm trying to keep whatever my speed is to their speed. Now I'm looking at it, I'm 4.1 and they're 4.0. So I'm thinking I'm almost 2.2 kilometers ahead of them, which is about 5 to 6 seconds. And no, I think it's about 3 to 4 seconds. Let me not get that wrong. I think I'm about 3 or 4 seconds ahead of them. So that's quite a bit of distance, but I gotta maintain that. So if you look at my weight balance, that thing is going negative. It is dying. Look at my heart rate. I'm at 160. I told you I usually clock out. I usually max out about 170. So this is nothing on this race but willpower. And I knew there was another little climb coming up right here. It's not a hard climb, but I gotta push through this thing too. Now watch my weight balance. I am doing nothing. This ain't nothing but me. This is willpower at best for me. I have no choice but to just keep pushing and pushing. All I'm praying for is once I see that checkered flag, I am there. So I look down at my speed and I know that I'm doing 28, but I know they hadn't hit the hill yet. And this gives me an idea where they're at, because once they hit the hill, I know their speed gonna come down. And watch as I get up to the top of the hill, they hit the hill, and I noticed that their speed came down just a little bit. See that? So it gave me just enough to get ahead of them. So I'm maintaining this thing. And man, I'm telling you, that's all I'm thinking about. Once I get to the end, I see that sprint sign. Once I see that finish line, man, I am so excited. But look at me, I'm at negative 33 on the wet balance, man. And when I turned this corner right here and I saw that checkered flag, I was just like, man, you just don't understand. I was above the high. And then I realized, man, you know, I get all that, then I realized there's one more race. There's one more. So with that being said, let's head on over to the next one. Now we're off to race 3. Now, the GM, the little 13-year-old kid who was racing this race, he was commenting about him coming in second on another race. Look, man, I'm gonna let you know something, man. I have a son and daughter. My daughter's 23. She's a labor and delivery nurse, doula, and lactate nurse. She's 23. She just came in town this weekend for Labor Day, Memorial Day weekend, and she was celebrating. She just delivered her, I want to say 106 baby. And my son is at Western Welding Academy in Wyoming. I stay here in Georgia. He's a welder, getting ready to work on pipelines and stuff like that. He's 21. And man, my son wrestled, my daughter sang opera. She's been all over the world when they was in school. Hey, look, whatever you're doing, man, I'm proud of you, man. Hey, you racing with the grown adults, man. Don't worry about coming in second. Keep pushing what you're doing. Use us to help you get better. That's what I say. So I don't want you to be disappointed. I know you probably just kind of frustrated a little bit when you were saying that. I know you was having fun. But I want you to remember, man, this is all about fun. And this is great. Like a kid, SJ, his parents, he has a little brother, and they do triathlons. And I raced him a couple of times. He's fun to race. Light guy. Y'all are the hard ones for me to beat. Y'all and the guys in C's who race a lot. Man, y'all much lighter. Y'all, man, most of y'all are at least 100 kilos lighter than me. Hell, you're probably 150 kilos lighter than me. So, hey, man, keep it up. I get excited when I do see y'all. I joke about it, but I get excited when I do see y'all in the races. So with that being said, let's get off on this race, and we're off. And as we take off on this one, now you see my weight winders don't build back up. You see my power. You see my heart rate back down there. We had about 4 to 5 minutes in between the race. So by me riding a lot, my heart rate will come back down. You saw it was maxed out, but you see right here, I'm doing pretty good. And we got 5.6 kilometers. I know in my head at the time, I was thinking I was going to do one more race. I was going to do the stage race. So as we take off on this thing, I'm looking around. I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be fine. I'm not worried about the race. And let me get that to you in your head. I was thinking to myself, I'm trying to stay. We have in this one 62 people. You can see up there on top where it shows the sauce. Now, it may be more than that, but with the sauce, it goes off whoever's on Zwift Power. So we got all them people in the race, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. All I'm trying to do, I'm trying to end in the top 25. What I try to do, whatever the top 25% of races are, excuse me, whatever the top 25 races are, I try to end in that spot. I try to get to that spot. And so, as you can see, I'm riding, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. What I'm gonna do is just stay close to the front. Now, I know where this route is going, kinda. Not perfectly. I know it's gonna end in the volcano as we go up and down this hill. And so what I'm thinking to myself is I gotta sprint up this spot right here. And then when I get over this hill, I'm just gonna use, I think we had Arrowhead. We had 2 of them. I said I'm gonna use that one once we get to the front. And then I'm gonna use it again once we go to the loop. That's gonna help me at the end of the race. So that's what I'm thinking we have. I may have been a draft. I may be wrong. So I can't remember on that, but as we come down the hill, whatever we had, I used it right here when it goes to 0 right there. And so as we're coming through the upright right here, what I try to do now is back off and get into the draft of everybody. And you're gonna see that on my next video, the next stage races, because I'm free to record those after this one. I did them today. And so we're racing, I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. What I need to do is keep them primarily just in front of me. And so that's what I'm trying. And somebody asked about that too. What happens is, it's because I'm trying to learn how to pedal with. This is a different kind of. I've only done maybe 20, maybe 25 beach races in C, maybe a little bit more, maybe 25, 30 races. But what it is, a lot of that I had to get rid of the way I was racing in D. So now that I'm in C, there's a little thing where I'm starting to kind of learn how to let people get back in front. Now, I've worked a lot of, the stage 4 is part premium reverse. It's a lot of hills. But they're sharp hills, meaning they hit hard and then you go out of them fast. So as we come down, we had a kilometer left. And as we slow down here, we almost back to the regular speed. I can even sped up a little bit, but as you can see, we're coming around to the end of this race. I know there's a turn right here at this hill, and we're gonna end inside the volcano. Right here, as we come to this turn, you'll see this is why I had to put my power in right here. I have to put it in early because I gotta climb. Now we're 2 kilometers out. We're 500 meters out, almost 500, 600 meters out. And as we make this turn in here, what I gotta do is keep my power in. You see I'm filling in. I gotta keep my power in as we come through here because I need to get back close to the front. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man, my legs were killing me. And it was because of that last race. You can look at my heart rate. I'm back up, man. And yeah, I was tired. I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. Man, I felt this race, man. And I think that's the reason I couldn't do the stage race, man. I looked up and I was like, man, my legs are exhausted. So as we crossed this line, I was just like this to myself, you know? And that's all I can say, y'all. Hey, look, I want to say thank y'all for watching my races. Thank y'all for enjoying my material. If you like it, subscribe, leave me a like, leave me a comment, man. With that, ride on.